The activity we will be presenting today is the idea of a stress balloon, and it is presented by Samantha Dyer, Sarah Hoak, and Destinee Smith. The lesson objectives are to recognize the impact of stress on wellness, to realize what could happen if stress levels go unchecked. The purpose of this is to identify strategies to lessen stress in your own life. The tools needed are a piece of paper and a writing utensil.
Step 1 of our stress balloon activity is to draw a large circle on the piece of your paper that you have in front of you. Make sure to leave space on the outside of your circle, as we will be coming back to this to write more stuff into it later. Now write all of your life stressors on the inside of your circle. These can be emotional, physical, school-related, family-related, work-related, or any type of stressor that you may have in your life. Step 2 is, after you have written all of the stressors, picture a balloon in your hand. Every time that you wrote down a stressor or continue to write down a stressor, that balloon is going to get bigger and bigger. The air in your balloon is very similar to the stress that you have in your life. Step 3 is, once your circle is almost full of stressors, think about how close to popping this metaphorical balloon actually is. For some of you, this balloon may have already popped. Now, what would happen to your emotional, physical, spiritual, social, and intellectual wellness if all of this stress in your life went unmanaged?
Here, we will be identifying some of the strategies that might help be effective managing your stress. Some of the examples would be going for a walk, talking about your feelings, or even exercising. Every time you list a strategy, imagine your balloon getting smaller and smaller. Now, go back to the circle you've drawn and list some of the stress busters we have just talked about out loud and on the outside of your circle. Point arrows from the stress buster towards your stress circle.
For the example of assessment 1 we gave was a college student that is struggling to cope with stress. They are a full-time student, work a part-time job, and volunteer. They identified these as their life stressors. What are some examples of ways they can deflate their balloon? Take a second to think about what answers you might give. The examples we gave are keep working hard, not asking for help, try exercising, asking for help from professors and peers, and maybe cutting their hours of working and volunteering. C is not doing anything at all. If you couldn't tell, the correct answer is B, which would be try exercising, reaching out for help, and cutting their hours of working and volunteering.
Our second assessment example involves a working mom of 3 children who is struggling to cope with all of her life stressors. Now, what do you think are some good resources for her to help manage her stress? Go ahead and take a second and think about all of the resources that you would use if you were put into this situation. The examples that we listed were going for a walk, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, and communicating with friends and family for assistance. These include physical, sleep, and emotional health, which very much go towards your overall well-being.
For assessment example number 3, what would be some of the examples of stressors that a working single dad may face? Take a minute to think about those. Some of the examples we came up with would be finding childcare for his children, work stress, or even stress in taking care of the residents or the bills. And here's our reference slide. We used the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We used our textbook for the class, and we used the hands-on health creative teaching strategies, which helped us pick our teaching demonstration idea.